What's going on, everybody? My name's Zach, the host of the Landry Hat podcast and the Landry Hat YouTube channel. You might know me from my own personal channel, Double Move, where I talk Cowboys as well. I'm hosting the Landry Hat this football season. If you guys are wondering why you're seeing me over here, FanSided asked me to host their YouTube channel. You're going to see me over here as well, twice a week on a podcast, a couple of shorts and stuff throughout the week, YouTube videos, and all of that. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I wanted to talk about how this Cowboys team just isn't the same as the ones that we've seen in the past. Something feels different. And I know some people are going to be like, okay, you're just an optimistic Cowboys fan. You're too optimistic about this team. Jerry Jones is still here. Stephen Jones is still here. And I understand that sentiment. I don't have a ton of hope for this organization when it comes to what Jerry and Stephen do, but I do have a lot of hope in what this 2025 coaching staff has put together. There's been some whispers about maybe Clayton Adams will get some head coaching interviews this upcoming offseason, or he might not be here for the long term, and I worry about losing certain coaches, especially Clayton Adams. I also am really hopeful because of what Brian Schottenheimer has built. The hirings that he had this past offseason when he got hired as the Cowboys head coach, those were on him. He picked those guys. So if he has to do it again, I kind of trust him to do that. But just something feels different with this team, with the coach, with the quarterback, the offensive scheme, their ability to put up points. And I promise you, we're going to talk about the defense a little bit later in this video. And after a really impressive win over the New York Jets, I wanted to talk a little bit more about that win going forward, right? The Cowboys were missing a number of guys, 9, 10, 11 different starters or guys that had played significant snaps so far this season. Ceedee Lamb wasn't in there. Kevontae Turpin, Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, Miles Sanders, Marshawn Nealon. That is an insane list of names. And if you would have told me going into week 5 and the Cowboys were playing the Jets and they were going to be missing all of those names, I would tell you that's a loss. Dallas, there's no way that they're winning that game. That's definitely a loss, which makes this even crazier because it wasn't just a win. It was a blowout win, a commanding one where you're up 30-3, nearly going into the fourth quarter, 30-3. The game ended at 37-22. That didn't tell the full story of how dominant Dallas was. And Jerry Jones was talking after the win about how the Cowboys got this win, missing so many different guys. And I know that Jerry can over-exaggerate, give too much credit to different people and this and that, but I totally agree with him when he said that the difference was coaching. How many times in the past have we seen the Cowboys fold because they're down just maybe Ceedee Lamb or just down Tyron Smith in the past with Jason Garrett? Lose a game that they really shouldn't have, they're more talented in, but because they're missing one guy or one piece of the offense isn't completely right, they stink it up. Way too many times. It's happened a number of times throughout my 15-20 years of watching football. Or if they did play okay, they'd still have to rely on Dak to have a career game for them to have a chance to win. In the game against the Jets, Dak was good, but it wasn't like he had some all-timer game or something like that. 230 plus yards, 4 touchdowns is impressive, but the offense was getting down there without him having to do a ton of stuff. You break it down, Dak had a pretty average day, all things considered. He didn't throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and all of that. You were missing your entire offensive line, 4 of 5. Your offensive line was a 7th rounder, an undrafted free agent, undrafted free agent, undrafted free agent, undrafted free agent. You were missing all-pro kick returner, punt returner, your 3rd wide receiver. So you're not just missing your 1st wide receiver, you're missing your 3rd wide receiver, the entire offensive line, and your 2nd running back when Javonte Williams is tired. I remember a time where we would come up with so many excuses for this team if just 1 or 2 key players were out on the road against the Jets and win in blowout fashion. I just can't get over that. And I'm going to base a lot on what happens during the Panthers game. Like if they go out there and just completely come out flat, they don't put any points on the board, the defense looks terrible once again, then I'm going to be upset. And okay, I'll say, okay, this kind of felt like a fluke. Maybe I was too high on this Jets win. But if they go out there and do it again, I mean, that's just going to be too hard to ignore, too impressive for people to ignore. Now, I'm not making this video to say that the Cowboys are Super Bowl champions. They're going to win the Super Bowl, because I do think there are a few pieces on defense. They're a few pieces away defensively from becoming a real, legitimate Super Bowl favorite, Super Bowl contender. I don't think that they have the talent on that side of the ball quite yet to get it done in the playoffs, but I do think with the coaching staff and the players that they have right now, with Lamb, with Pickens, with Javonte Williams, Dak Prescott, the window that we thought was the Cowboys winning a Super Bowl is opening back up. I have more hope for it going forward. If they can do some stuff right on the defensive side of the ball over the next 2 drafts, where you have 4 first-round picks and probably 3 of them need to be on the defensive side, then some more pieces here and there in free agency, like I think your Super Bowl window is there. The problem is, can you always bet that your quarterback's going to play even better next year, or your run game's going to be the same next year or even better, especially if Clayton Adams is kind of up in the air? I find myself really conflicted on wishing that they would do something on defense now. I'm not going to beat around the bush or anything. The offense is Super Bowl material. It's the best in the league, the most efficient, running the football, throwing the football, yards per game. Like, it is the best offense in the NFL. Your quarterback is playing at an MVP level. Your run game with Javonte Williams, like, he's really hit his stride, a completely different player than we thought he would be. I just want this front office to maybe take a shot at fixing the defense. The offense feels like it's worth taking a shot on, and I know that they already traded a 3rd away for George Pickens. They got the 2 1s from the Micah trade, but wouldn't you like to see this team try to do something to maybe increase their chances this year? Because I don't want it to be that, well, we're going to get overshown back, or Savon Ravel, or this guy's got to start playing better. Your offense is built to be a contender, and then you just try to patch up the defense and go make a run. The best part about all of this is Dallas doesn't have to go out and get a Micah Parsons level player. The defense doesn't need to be first in the league for you to be a serious Super Bowl contender. They just need to be average, middle of the road, average as can be. Decent. Don't give up 40 points every single week to Russell Wilson, who got benched a week later because they know your defense is so bad. That Russell Wilson 400-yard game and 4 touchdowns and this and that, it meant nothing to the Giants, and that should tell you everything that you need to know about the respect that they have for the Dallas defense. They saw Russell Wilson do that, and they were like, nah, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. We're still going to bench him and all that. Like, you don't have to go out and spend those 2 first-round picks that you got this year from Micah and then overspend to find pieces here and there. It literally just needs to be like 2 impact players on expiring deals, maybe 1-year rentals that don't cost a ton of money, don't mess with the cap for the next couple of years. That's all we're asking for. A decent defense. It's gonna stink if they go out and lose a playoff game in the fashion that they tied with the Packers, right? Because in the playoffs, you're not gonna tie. You can't just end in a tie and then go to the next week. And that game, you can't say that Dallas would have won. It would have been a coin flip because the defense couldn't stop a single drive in the second half. And if you lose a game like that, it's going to be absolutely heartbreaking considering the offense is playing so well. Just look at the Jets game. All it took was for 2 or 3 stops, 2 or 3 offensive drives for the Cowboys to put that game away. It was completely out of reach, 30-3. Now, I know every team isn't going to be to the level of the Jets, like that bad of a team, but you see the firepower that you got with Dak and Pickens. Imagine when you add Ceedee back to that, and you add Booker back in, and Tyler Smith back in, and maybe Guyton. You don't want to lose a playoff game 50-47 because you didn't go out and at least try to improve it, right? If it happens the other way and you do get beat like that, at least you can look back and say, okay, well, they did make 2 trades. They tried their best to do it, even if it was mid-season, and at least they realized that they had a chance and they tried. They don't, it's going to be a lot more upsetting. So that's all I got for you guys today. I just wanted to talk about it. Cowboys, I just think this team's worth taking a chance on. You can't guarantee anything from year to year. It just feels different with Shoddy in his first year and Clayton Adams still here, and how well Dak's playing, and Javonte Williams is having a career year, and Ceedee's coming back. Like, come on. Let's go make a move. This team feels different. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you agree with my rant, don't agree with my rant, let me know down below in the comments. Think 2026 is their year, or 2027? What you thinking? Let's go for it in 2025. Bye.